welcome back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley. We're gonna do a collective reading right now, but first I just want to touch on the energy today. Today is May 1st. Is it May 1st? Yeah. Oh, that's why. The feminine, which is like the darkness, the being, is so fucking intense today. The feminine energy is very much not even present, but leading. I'm listening to Chantra's, what's her name? Seba, maybe? You can find her on YouTube. Gorgeous. Yeah, she was shared with me by another mommy friend. So we're gonna have her going in our healing. And I'm being called to use the Light Seers Tarot with the Synchronicity deck, which are my two favorite decks regarding like art, right? So already on the bottom of the deck, I'm not going to pull these, but I want you to know the energy that we are. I'm getting like a finish line energy. Love and 10 of Pentacles. So love and money could be what you are seeking. And it's already present in the reading, so stick around. I need to get my thingy. Hang on. BDSM could be something significant. Take what resonates. Alright. Alright, y'all, let's see what's up. I'm getting like matriarch rising. By any means. Now's the time. Wow, 10 of Pentacles still. I just shuffled. We've got some over here. So we'll see if it comes out. Alright, let's go ahead and pull. Opening us up to the Empress. I'm going to take it because this is like the main theme. I'm going to set her a part of the reading. Well, I guess I won't. Okay, then we have the Fool, the Devil in reverse, 6 of Wands, and Ace of Pentacles. So this is what we're up against. So with this in reverse, that's what I'm saying. It feels like there's been a massive shift in collective power because of everyone's own personal journeys, right? What I talk about all the time, taking that leap of faith into doing what nourishes you, what you strive for, what you want, your passion, your love, right? Catapulting you not only into spotlight but also into wealth, right? And we know that when the right people have the wealth, money will get used properly, right? And in what we're seeing right now in this global context, properly is defeating the machine, the war machine. Bam. Alright. I'm gonna pull. I think we're gonna do a grid. So we're gonna do one row of these, one row of these, one row of these, and then one row of these, okay? Just sit tight. I'm being told what to do. Just put these out of the way. So remember that just because, remember that, why is there all this fur everywhere? As a rhetorical question. I've got a fuck ton of cats. Uh-oh. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. We have a hidden message from the Yin Yang Oracle that snuck into here. And so I'm going to take it. It's water energy. I'm water sign. The womb is water. The earth is predominantly water. We have another hidden message. Gather. This one was facing the opposite way of all the other cards. So gather. Today is May Day. There's going to be protests internationally. May Day is for workers. International Day of Fighting Back. Workers' rights. If we don't see big protests today, I don't know what to tell you. So with the devil in reverse, I mean, it's pretty obvious. We know what the problem is. We know who the devil is, right? The devil has identified themselves in all of these other in all of these many aspects, right? Okay, 4 more. I'm setting gather and water apart from the reading as like themes. And then, okay, we have masculine energy coming out sideways. I don't really do reversals with this deck, but I'm just sharing how they're coming out in case it makes sense to you. Silence in reverse, creativity in reverse. But we're gonna read on the energy upright. Well, I'll read both aspects. Okay, last one for this row. Strength. So we have crystal vision, followed by masculine, the divine masculine energy, creativity and silence. It came out that way. And then strength. Recognizing it's going to take strength to speak up. It's going to take strength to step into our creativity. And that creativity is your sacral energy. There's been this rise of divine feminine for years. Lots of women have been celibate. That's part of it. 3 of Cups. It's like sisterhood. 9 of Wands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I'll take them. Alright, we got 7 for this row from this tarot. First coming out, 3 of Cups. Cups are about emotion. Again, you can see this this sisterhood, but this could also speak to the feminine energy. So there's 3 stages of femininity within the human realm. It's maiden. What is is it maiden, mother, and crone? Is mother the one? I feel like that's it. So it's like before you're a mother, being a mother, and then like premenopausal, menopausal age. So with this 3 of Cups here, that's speaking to our emotional capacity. And again, it's coming out right underneath the Empress with crystal vision. So like I said, femininity is very much, very, very present today. 9 of Wands. So we have the Fool, the Prince, which is divine masculine energy, which is the doing energy within all of us. And then the 9 of Wands, which is like self-imposed bondage, releasing yourself from limiting beliefs and other things holding you back. Then we have the Devil in reverse with silence. I think there's 2 things to speak to that with what we have here. We have the 2 of Swords, which is indecision, and we have the Magician. I feel like the Magician is this way out, reconnection, Like the Magician is also encompassing its major arcana, but it also encompasses the Hierophant and High Priestess energy within the deck, which is the feminine and masculine aspects of magic. The Magician can be a little bit more nefarious, but if you're up against the devil, with Two of Swords, making a decision, being faced with Two of Swords is like the traditional tarot. She's holding the Two of Swords crossing in front of her, so that, whatever comes, she can quickly, take out. But this Magician energy, silence coming out in reverse. So the devil and silence in reverse with the Magician. It's time to speak up. And I feel like a lot of people are grappling with that because they're scared. There's nothing to lose at this point. I've been reminded of Asada Shakur's chant. We used to say this at events and stuff, actions all the time in LA. It is our duty to fight for freedom. And then the crowd responds. The crowd repeats. It is our duty to win. And then the crowd, chants it back. We must love and protect each other. We must love and protect each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. And I feel like chains, like, look at her. She's bound, right? Bound by something else. Bound by silence. Okay. If you're not comfortable speaking up on large platforms, then at least be doing some magic in the background, right? With this Six of Wands and creativity, I'm going to put the Sun under here. I mean, we have 3 cards, but I feel like the Sun makes a lot of sense. These are very much the same energy, but like how to get this energy is through creativity, creating new ways, right? Not allowing these systems to be it. I mean, humanity has one choice here. It's either this or something else. I mean, that's it. And it's like the last part of Hunger Games. We do spoilers over here. When they're all sitting around that table and she's like, Katniss is like, I want to kill President Snow. And Jodie Foster's character, the woman who wants to take over, the woman who's power hungry and just wants to, initiate the same thing but kind of backwards. I'm getting that energy as well within this, right? Because Katniss goes on to become a matriarch. She goes from this maiden warrior energy into motherhood, maternity, and not just for her kids, but she ensured the world would be a good place to bring children into, right? So with this Ace of Pentacles, strength, we have Queen of Pentacles and the Page of Swords. Page of Swords is very much giving idea, right? Look at all the light bulbs. What ideas do you have that you can root into this planet? I mean, this is what we talk about all the time on my channel. This Ace of Pentacles has these baby roots, right? So if you put the Ace of Pentacles next to here, what ideas do you have that are going to bring in money for you, survival for you, but also be 3 times over for everyone else? What information do you need to gather to make this happen? And then we have the strength here with it. What strength is needed to carry this out and be very realistic with it? And then we have this Queen of Pentacles, again giving matriarch within wealth, abundance. And I feel like there's this shift. It's like an undercurrent. It's like a riptide. It's going to happen regardless because enough of us are awake. And I feel like we don't really believe that because of what we see happening. But I want you to remember that what's happening is happening at this like incredibly alarming like urgency because of the threat of resistance, because of the threat of enough of us being comfortable and helping each other out with this abundance outside of the system. I mean, that's the only way we're going to be able to make it, is outside of this system. Alright, let's get a few more cards from Synchronicity just to follow up on any other energies that we can either cultivate or pull on. Imagination, spiritual guidance, and sorrow in reverse. Yeah, I know we all feel like this, but whenever this card comes out, look how many options she has. Only within the path, right? There's 3 other options. Well, there's 4 options on the path. And then I always talk about how you can always walk off the path, right? I mean, that's the road less traveled, the way that we are over here on our channel. We are doing things differently because they need to be done differently, right? So whatever sorrow you're feeling, it's very much giving this 2 of Swords energy. You have choices to make, and remember that magic is one of those choices. Believing and remembering that you are a magical motherfucker. I mean, we all are. We all have aspects within us that we can call on. With this 6 of Wands, creativity in the Sun, we have imagination, which is also this Page of Swords energy. So like the second half of the reading is very much going to take creativity and imagination, right? Listening to the spiritual guidance that we're receiving. The raven at the bottom speaks to also believing in magic. Getting back to this childlike innocence, which is the process of coming into consciousness. Right? Okay, let's get some on these energies over here. And we'll be all done. I like this reading. I love both of these decks so much. So remember that we have water and gather here as well. What I'm getting from that is like water is symbolic of emotional stability and whatnot, emotions. And gather, I'm getting holding space, right? Becoming containers for each other to allow emotions to flow, right? Because there's a lot of emotions that people are going through, especially when you do come into consciousness, especially when we are up against, you know, global tyranny and shit. We have finder of lost things and attraction. So attraction coming out with this divine masculine, Fool and 9 of Wands. There could be some sort of love. I mean, divine unions are coming together. I wouldn't really settle for anything less than a divine union at this point in time, because the point is for souls to find like souls, to create these new ways of being outside of this system. So like I wouldn't, personally, I've been, you know, anti-others for a long time, but if I wouldn't just let lust happen right now. I wouldn't, if you're on a spiritual path, if you're here on my channel watching this, I would be very conscientious about who is in your life. And I'm not just talking about romantically, I'm talking anyway, right? I've cut off everybody. I don't talk to anybody. People get a few chances with me, but if I realize that like they're just trying to manipulate me or play me, or you know, they're staying in these same cycles without the desire or action to grow, I cannot have people in my life like that. Romantically, friendships, family, no one. I am growing and changing. I'm dedicated to that. That's my life's path. That's the path of consciousness, of spiritual awakening, of being a leader in this world right now when we need people to be. It takes a lot of discipline, but I would never ever let anyone put me back into spaces that I've already been in, like that I've had to fight my way out of. I'm at a point where I can't afford that. You know? So with attraction, be careful about that, because we do have the Fool, the Prince, and this Nine of Wands, again, which is self-imposed bondage. Like, you could easily walk over this, but you're choosing to stay behind it. So again, if you're in a relationship that's not serving your spiritual path, I want to remind you that this war is just as much physical as it is spiritual. These motherfuckers are doing all the devil's work to break our souls, break our spirits. And I think it goes a lot deeper than that they haven't carried it out. But, like, you know, the chips that Elon Musk wants to put in people's minds, you have to get to a point of unconsciousness in order to carry that out. So this is like raw humanity versus, you know, this technocratic. And they've been very vocal about this. This isn't a conspiracy theory. That's something that small-minded people say because they don't want to face the truth, right? But the truth is that we still have the ability in this moment to shift it if enough of us resist. So today will be very interesting, as it is May Day. May Day, May Day, okay. And lastly, we have this Finder of Lost Things. Again, elephants are matriarch. So this is coming out in the Empress Crystal Vision, this Three of Cups energy that we talked about, the different stages of the feminine, with the elephant coming out for the matriarch. This has to shift. We have to shift out of the patriarch because the patriarch hurts men as well. So again, speaking to these two that were like our bonus message, think about putting water in a dish. Think about the container used to hold water. And water, just like femininity, has 3 different stages. It can be a water, a solid, or a gas. So hold that close as you gather, as you brainstorm ways to create new ways of being, as you step into who you are. Know that some moments are going to be necessary for steam. Some moments are going to be necessary for ice. Some moments are going to need you to flow, right? But regardless, when we are interacting with others, we need to be much more intentional. We need to be much more compassionate. Especially here in the United States, as a lot of MAGAs are turning in their red hats. They're realizing the error of their ways. I mean, there's a lot of them who are like, whoa, this isn't what I wanted. I didn't realize this is what was going to happen. And we do need to meet that with compassion and understanding and welcome them onto the right side of not only history, but like humanity. This is a big wave of consciousness that a lot of us didn't think we would get. And you know, in my political party that I'm in as well, my, you know, mentor said, you know, the main person doing the recruiting for us is Donald Trump. You know, people are waking up very, very quickly, being like, no, what can we do? No. So I would say this is gorgeous. I mean, this is giving me a lot of hope. I didn't realize that this is what this was all going to be about. And again, with the time, the divine time of this being May Day, I would say pay attention to the protests that are happening, especially in the urban landscapes today. They're going to be big. They're going to be massive. You know, and if you are in a small town like I am, just pay attention. I know my baby daddy's got a bunch of May Day stuff going on today. They always do. I've been to a few May Day protests in my time in LA. Last night in LA, the UCLA student encampments were cattled by like a whole bunch of California law enforcement beyond the LAPD. So again, we have very, very obvious signs of who's on what side, right? There's this song, Rebel Diaz, Which Side Are You On? And I feel like for coming into consciousness, that's kind of part of the process, is recognizing if you want to be a part of the problem or a part of the solution. I mean, there are only two sides, but there's a lot of avenues once you choose that side, right? But yeah. Alright, have a good one. I hope that this inspires you to do what you need to do. If you are feeling stuck after watching this, or you're feeling like very frantic, that's not the intention. The intention is to get you to step into your own power, take a leap of faith, fight your own demons, integrate your own shadow, balance out your own environments, all of that. And if you need help with that, I've put a ton of fucking stuff together. But one thing in particular I keep talking about is the What's Your Calling readings. Go watch a few of those and do those, weekly, bi-weekly. But to give you, to help you brainstorm and heartstorm ideas and ways to escape the matrix and, step into your power, this energy, so that you can cultivate this wealth in abundance and then turn around and share it, right? Because that's the thing us poor folks want to share. We are still intact with our hearts. We, poor folks are way more generous than rich folks. Obviously, I think we all know that at this point. But it's time for the tide to change, right? I mentioned that riptide, the undercurrent. I don't know if you've ever been in the ocean, but there's an undercurrent that can like pull you out. And that's kind of where we're at. We need to stay under so that we're not visible enough to be countered. I'm getting I don't know. You guys get the gist. Have a good one.